Thank you, Mena. It's my pleasure to speak on this platform as a representative of the trades unions, BECTU, the Writers Guild, Equity, the NUJ and the Musicians Union. Mae flin dy fi, mae fy Nghymraeg i ddim digon da I mi allu gwneud fy araith I gyd yn Gymraeg, ond mae darlledu Gymraeg yn agos iawn at fy ngalon. This apology for my lack of fluency is the only apology I'll make today. The unions will express no regrets in taking part in a demonstration to express their outrage on the insulting way this condemned coalition have treated Wales in attacking Welsh language broadcasting. We say to the Tories, take your imperialistic character out of our modern Wales. We say to the Liberals, shame on you. You are rejecting the noble radical political history in Wales. Worse still, you're an insult to Britain's only Welsh-speaking Prime Minister, Lloyd George. He must be turning in his grave, just as surely as we'll turn our backs on you. It's not my intention to bombard you with the economic pros and cons of having an independently funded Welsh language broadcaster. Our case is more fundamental. Our case is more passionate. Television is a creative process. This creativity requires the desire to tell you a story. This is a fundamental requirement. There is nothing more natural, nothing more rewarding to tell you a story in the language of your choice. All the unions have members who not only choose but desire to reflect the history, current affairs or news of their country in their own language. This desire of our members involving the writers, production teams, cast and crew is a deliberate choice they have made. They could work across the world. They chose, though, to use their talents and skills in representing Wales to itself, Wales to the world. I would like for a moment to give a message to BECTU members in Caernarfon, in particular those Barcade staff who were loyal members of the union for 25 years. I say to you that your professionalism, your dedication down the years served the channel and your community well. Unfortunately, your competence and dedication was not matched by those who employed you or that ran SVC. Your commitment was badly led and poorly directed. I would like to extend those sentiments to all workers in television in North Wales. Though the hours you work are too long, your rewards too little, we do not believe that in order to make those programs you are passionate about, that you should give up the right to a social life, to a family life. The television settlement of 1982 resolved a turbulent debate in Wales, struggling to come to terms with the forces of the 20th century world, with a desire by some for a materialistic capitalism in which there was no such thing as society. Not for the first time, the pressures of British politics brought the language of Wales into question. The debate over what language viewers wanted became once and again an attack on the language and an attack on the minority. It was the pressure created by people all over Wales who were prepared to take action by individual choice which changed things. This brought a long period of consensus where both languages became available to the viewer, thus ending a long, sad history. Last month, the Minister, Jeremy Hunt, lit the blue touch paper again to that old politics, to that old agenda. A return to bashing the language. I would suggest that the remodelling of the nasty party has some way to go. Well, recently with colleagues, including Cymdeithas yr Iaith Cymraeg, we set light to a campaign to defend that consensus and to attack those whose only consideration of Wales is that there is no need to consider us at all. At the meeting of politicians earlier this week, I enjoyed seeing the consternation of Tory MPs at being given the news that their lifeline for Welsh language broadcasting was being rejected by the people of Wales. I was angered, though, by the notion expressed by them that their Secretary of State, Jeremy Hunt, was being slighted, that his desire to safeguard SVC and Welsh language broadcasting was being used by us who oppose him to grandstand. Well, certainly for BECTU, I say to Alan Cairns, if you care anything about the views of the people in Wales, if you care to save Jeremy Hunt from any more embarrassment, take him this message from meetings such as these. Tell him that his midnight deals in London are not acceptable in a modern democratic Wales. Wales is not fooled by his claim that these proposals are to help Welsh language television. Wales is insulted by his lack of respect and competency. Wales has had to resist the Tories before. Wales will resist them again. And when Mr Cairns and Mr Hunt are footnotes in hand said, Wales and his people will still be proud and still be here. We must remember how this channel was won. It was not out of the boardrooms of ITV or the BBC. It was won by people who were prepared to risk a great deal. Those who were prepared to be labelled criminals and, yes, threatened to fast themselves to death. The need for the channel was evident then. These conditions and these needs have not changed. It ended the antagonism between English and Welsh viewers and therefore the divisions around the language. It brought a sustained growth in the use of the Welsh language. It brought the ability to many Welsh speakers to earn a good living in a modern industry in the language of their choice. The proposals by the condemns put all of this at risk. I've said all of the conditions which made S4C necessary in 1982 are still relevant. The proposed 25% cuts over 4 years will do nothing except hasten the demise of the channel because it will not change the policy of low-budget, poor-quality programmes. Far from protecting Welsh language broadcasting by making the BBC responsible, I believe it will further endanger colleagues working across the BBC. Robbing Peter to pay Paul is not a solution for S4C. It is a recipe for terminal decline in public service broadcasting in the Welsh language in Wales. We are not ferrets to be put in a sack. This is not the way for a modern country to establish its broadcasting priorities. All the unions are responsible to their members through their rulebook and compliance with law. However, we urge members of all these unions to take any opportunity to attend rallies such as this and to pressurise politicians to reconsider these proposals. We need to come together. We need to form that tidal wave that will be heading towards Westminster on these issues. It is the intention of the unions to continue to fight for publicly funded public service broadcasting through the medium of Welsh. However, we need the broadcasters and S4C to acknowledge that this defiance is not an endorsement of their failed strategies. You have failed the people who fought for you. You have failed the people who work for you. Rather, like the failed bankers who expect us to pay for their mistakes, we are expected to pay for the broadcasters' failure to manage. This is why we are saying, na I doriadau, ie I S4C newydd. No to the cuts, yes to a new S4C. It is a pleasure to stand alongside other organisations and unions here today expressing concerns for the future. Whilst I regret the necessity, I'm impressed to see once again the spirit of defiance amongst us. I'm impressed also by the defence being put up by students against the attacks made on them. Hey. Unions have survived because they are still needed, and this is a message for the younger people here today. You have a choice. You can meekly accept any imposition, any indignity government wishes to impose upon you. Or you can stand up for yourself, and I am glad and proud you are choosing to stand up for yourself. In life, we all have choices to make. I am proud that my country, my community, have always chosen to defend itself through mutual support and collective action. Remember, when the Daily Mail and the Daily Express are telling you to be selfish, to be suspicious of those from other countries, they are expressing their interests, not yours. And remember, tomorrow you could be their target. The lesson has always been to defend your family, your home, and your communities collectively. We must come together and organise to defend. The choice is, as it has always been, stand proudly, shoulder to shoulder, together, or live your life on your knees. From those present here today, I'm pleased to see that our proud radical tradition will be upheld. It's shoulder to shoulder then, together, through thick and thin.